All right, let's get started. Welcome to the Stop Chasing the Wrong Leads segment here with Stone Ridge Connect. I'm going to get to show you the Sales Qualification Agent along with some setups. That way you can hopefully start implementing this in your business today and reach out for any help and see the really impact right away. It's very user friendly and really awesome. So let's keep going. Just our agenda for today. I'm going to give you a quick introduction to the agent itself, present the challenge that a lot of sales companies face today and how the agent solves it, give you a quick overview of a couple different modes of the agent, dive into an awesome live lead demo, and then really go over the business impact that we have available through this new technology. My name is John Cody. I'm a professional functional consultant here at Stone Ridge Software, and I've been with them for the last 5 years. I hold the following certifications, and I specialize in the sales, field service, and some integrations with ERP systems such as Finance and Operations and Business Central. And now I get to dive into all the new stuff coming out with Copilot and AI that I get to show you today. So what is the Sales Qualification Agent and what is it capable of here? Really, it helps you scale lead qualification, emailing, and handing it off all of your leads using AI, obviously, that's embedded right into your system. So you don't have to pull any outside tools or anything like that. You will be able to configure this within Dynamics, which I will show you today. And it has access to your system data to make things a lot more personalized and a lot more effective. Obviously, we know some challenges that sales team face today is the volume of leads and the quality of those leads. So it's hard to track down what is the correct lead that we should be going for and focusing our attention on, and what is the one that's most likely to yield results. As I mentioned, the sales challenge there, we've got increasing volume, manual lead qualification limits. So you're having to go in and spend time with each lead, do some research on that lead, call the customer, make sure they're serious about the product that they want, a lot of outreach back and forth just to get a qualification on turning this into an opportunity. And there's that delayed lead response. If you aren't replying to people right away in today's day and age, they've probably found somebody else. Everybody is shopping around for everything they do. And so if whoever is the first to reply back with the most information, usually the one who gets the job done. So where our agent gets to help solve that, a couple different aspects. So it's got a built-in researcher that can help research these leads through that lead qualification process, and it can do personalized outreach in order for you to send automatically emails to these customers to reach out to them first, including stuff about their company, about the lead, about products they might be interested in, and help you schedule dates to connect with them or calls as well. So it's really a co-pilot really for your sales agents to help them kickstart things without them having to do anything and filter out those leads that aren't so serious and those that might be the hot deals. Let's jump ahead here. There are two things you're going to want to know really about this sales agent, and then it has two modes. It has the research only mode and the research and engage mode. So research only is just what it sounds like. It does its research based on the criteria that you put in, which I'll show you in the demo, and other outside sources that you can feed to it. It evaluates the fit, drafts outreach emails, but it does not send anything from outside the system, just drafts the emails that way a salesperson can go in, give it a personal touch, send that email, or do whatever else they need to. It can also auto-assign these leads, qualify things like that. That's research only. Research and engage mode takes that one step further, and I think one step better for what people need in today's day and age. And that is this agent autonomously sends out these emails, which I know sounds scary at first, but once you see these emails, you'll understand why I think this is going to be super effective in today's day and age. It follows up on these no responses, it detects buying signals, and it can escalate qualified leads, which is a lot of time spent for salespeople now cut down to minutes because this agent does all this in the background. So you get to log in the morning and see all the responses, what's going on, and any leads handed off to you specifically that are more interested in your product. And one of the best things that this agent does is helps align sales and marketing. Because as with marketing, we've got campaigns on campaigns, we've got events, we've got trade shows, and a lot of leads are generated usually from these events. And they usually just put right into the system and marketing's done with it. They wipe their hands with it, and now a sales team has to go through there, figure out who these people are, figure out if it's legitimate, start contacting people. And it's a very longer kind of sales process. Now this eliminates that having to have a human do that and cuts it down to minutes. This is going to evaluate all these leads based on your criteria that you're going to put in and do that for the salesperson. Give it a rating, hot, cold, or warm. It's going to reach out to them if it's meeting the certain criteria, or if it's just research, it'll pass it off and assign it to a person specifically, which saves your sales team so much time and effort in doing this. So there's a lot of benefits here between connecting these processes that used to be just a manual handoff and the teams don't really interact with each other. And now they don't really need to. Now marketing can import all the leads and sales can let the agent do all the work and then tackle those that are the most important. But enough slides. I'm really excited about the demo stuff. So let's jump on in over here. I'm going to share my other screen and we're going to get into this. All right. So as I mentioned, over here on the left-hand side of your sitemap, if you're in the Sales Hub, you've got the app settings area. And this is what's going to take you to start configuring and realizing what kind of AI capabilities you have available to you. If you come into this section here, the Dynamics 365 AI Hub, you're going to get to see all these great little videos on the agents that are pre-built and already available for you, how to turn them on and what they can do for you. And right now, we're going to go over the Sales Qualification Agent. You can click create and manage agents in here. You will have to click create. Now I've already created one for this demo for the sake of showing you this in the draft stage just so you can see what's all available. But I'm also going to show you how easy it is to set up and how quickly I was able to do that probably within an hour or two, really, without spending much time. Obviously, the more time you put into it, the better the agent is going to be. But it really just shows you how user-friendly this is for regular tech people to, or not even tech, just anyone to set up that who has access, who has admin access in your organization. You don't need to be a coder, developer, or anything of that nature to set up these automated bots that Microsoft has available. So on the first page, you're going to get to pick between those two modes. Like I mentioned, research mode is default. You can't take that off. It has to have the base research. And then you can choose to add engage or not. Now mine's already checked. Once you choose to add engage, you cannot take it off. So there's a caveat there. Make sure you pay attention to that and you only scale into it when your organization is ready and has the correct policies in place. Now I have a demo environment here, so I've just gone ahead and activated engage as well to show you. It automatically tells you what prerequisites you're going to need and which ones are completed. I had to go in and do these manually, create the app in Azure, create a shared mailbox, create an app user. All of that took me as a functional less than an hour. As someone who's doing this for the first time, maybe 2. All of these articles link right to how to do it and how to set it up and walks you through it as long as you have the proper permissions. So it is very easy to set up and explains what you're doing, not just how to do it. So you understand the setup that you're allowing this agent to do. You're then going to build your agent profile. You're going to give it a name and what the agent should do. The more detail I found that you put in here, the better kind of this agent acts, because it does use this along with the other criteria you're going to see on the left-hand side to perform its actions. So I just gave it a pretty general description of what it should do. It should review the open leads, determine if the prospect is interested in buying within the next 7 days and if it meets the business criteria. And you're going to get to define what that is in these later steps here, this under selection criteria. You need to give it that agent user that you created in those prerequisites, pick a language. You need an AI disclaimer. You can put whatever you want there, other terms, and you can even modify the signature. I did modify it to say SQA because I didn't want to say it was an AI agent sending it to them, but you do want to leave that disclaimer so they know. You then get to give it company info. So I told it, this is my demo company. I gave it a fake website, so it's not producing great info for me. But for you, if you put your company website there, it can pull things from that website. You'll see things like knowledge articles. When we get to there, you can pull testimonials, pull reviews, pull things like that, and put that into emails to help get that sale with that person, which is really great. Then you put in the products on basically a description of what you sell and what you do and why you're the best fit. And it takes this and modifies, obviously, and adds its own flavor to this when talking to customers on your behalf. You can even use AI if you want to generate that value proposition based on your website if you want, but that's totally up to you. This is the important part, the selection criteria. So I created this specific segment for hot leads is what I named this one. You can create different segments and you can add different filter criterias and do all what you want there. So I said, I want open leads that are the hot rating, that are not employee referral or partner, and the email contains data within the last 120 days. Now, you might want to take this out because you want to determine which leads are hot or warm. It's up to you. But I had some sample data in there already, so I know which ones I'm looking for. You can then preview what that looks like. This does take a little bit to load, so I'm not going to click it now just for the sake of time, but you'll be able to preview and see what leads it's pulling, what leads it's looking at. So you're not just building a query blind, you are making sure it's grabbing the correct leads. And now this lets you add any field from the lead. So if you did pull something from a trade show specifically that you were looking at, you can add that lead source field and say where it equals trade show. So you're not evaluating every single lead that's put in. This automated agent will only look at the leads that you tell it to look at, which is very helpful because I know people don't want emails going out to every single lead. They just want very specific stuff. I'm going to give sales agent permission for certain things, essentially, certain records, and not all of my records. You then tell it some email instructions. And the purpose of this, if it's just a commercial kind of marketing type thing or transactional, or if it's just for tracking, to track it to Dynamics, you give it a purpose there and it will change what the outreach email looks like. And then you can add personalization based on key fields from your lead. So if you were making custom fields or out of the box fields that you're filling in from these marketing events that you want them to specifically mention, you can add those fields and it will dynamically include that. A great example of this is like customer need. Oftentimes that is captured very shorthand. They need a new laptop or they need this new service or something that you put into that customer need in the lead field, and a sales rep now has to come up behind that and say, oh, I don't really know what they mean by this. It's just shorthand, and they have to expand on that. Now AI will do that for you. It will look at the value of that field, fill it out, put some color around it and say, hey, I noticed you were looking for a new laptop. Here's what we can offer. I'm saying that because my demo company sells laptops. You tell it what email address to look at on the lead record. So if you had custom fields, like custom emails that you were doing specifically for this, right, you'd have that, but I just have the 3 out of the box. So we're pointing it to email 1. And then there's the handoff criteria, which is really great because this allows you to not only customize the fields for these specific things, but also how and who like this agent should be assigned to these assignment rules. So it wants to know what industries I'm targeting. So software as a service and technology. Again, this demo company sells computers and some software. And then it asks you just typical questions to help you categorize and what would you fill in to qualify your lead. And so what's the typical employee size of people you're targeting? So I put 50 to 400. Who's the roles? And then asks you, where's that info stored? So am I storing that in the job title field in the lead? Am I storing it in the contact, the job title field in the contact, the decision influencer label on the contact? So you can add in custom fields that you've created or the out of the box ones to tell it to look at these fields for this information, which is phenomenal here because not everyone is uniform in how they store their data. And so this gives you that flexibility to say, hey, I'm actually storing this budget range into a different field. It's not the regular budget field that's on the lead. I've created 3 separate fields, a high, low, medium, or something like that for this. And I want you to evaluate those fields instead of a canned budget field. So that's the benefit of giving this handoff criteria. Now you'll notice I didn't fill in all this information and my agent is still going to run and still going to show me some pretty great stuff. So it just shows you the more that you fill in here, the better your agent is going to get. Next, you have the assignment rules. You can assign this to specific sellers, any seller, which is what I did because I didn't set up my sellers, and sellers with matching attributes. So you can set up your sellers for a region, things of that nature. So that way it's not the lead. Once it realizes this is a good lead, it's a hot lead, the person's responded, maybe we should qualify this, it can assign it to a person to then take over that transitional, that handoff. So that way you're not worrying about leads being auto qualified and things of that nature. If you don't want to, you can hand it off for one last check by a human seller here before that happens. You can also assign it to a team, specific teams like the sales team or specific regions team for someone to grab, or teams with matching attributes depending on what that lead came in with. The next part I think is important, but you may not have right away, and that's knowledge articles and research here. So you can provide company research on your business context with insights on industry, company size, locations. Not a lot of people have this right away. Some people do marketing around this and they will have that information readily available. Same thing with competitor research. You might be able to upload a list of competitors and the Copilot can actually write your strengths versus weaknesses there and a couple of lines to basically say, hey, here's this competitor. They offer some, this is why we're better. It can kind of help overcome objections before you even get to them through those kind of competitors and uploading that information for you. You also have the agent knowledge articles for the email that I can use. I uploaded one knowledge article here that you don't see, but it's just about my products. You can upload knowledge articles about just your company in general, like testimonials or case studies, stuff you've done for other people. And it can use all of that in its responses and its initial outreach when the client asks questions like, why should I choose you? Or have you done this before? It can reference that and say, hey, we have done something like this before. We have installed this before for another customer. Here's what the results that we had. Here's what they quoted after that. They were increased their productivity by 20%. It can give it statistics and things of that nature to help overcome objections or answer questions in general based on the knowledge articles that you give it, which is pretty amazing there because it really is like an AI chatbot for email that's helping you qualify these leads and go through the hard work of answering every little bitty detailed question to see how serious the customer is, and then passing that off to a real person to go ahead and handle that sale and qualification. So once you have all this put together, you get to this outreach emails part. And this is where you can start your test. And so I'm going to go ahead and click start here because it does take a little bit to get going. But once it starts testing, basically what it's doing, it's going to run through all of that criteria that I gave it, check the segment, check the selection criteria, the email instructions, and it's going to actually put together draft emails for me right here for me to see, for me to review. And then because I have the engage mode, not just the research mode, I can click the start agent and it will start emailing out everything that it has in preview. Now, if I just had research mode, it would still draft those emails, but when I click start agent, then it's running in the background and it's not sending those emails. It's just going to create the emails, it's going to attach them to the record, save them as a draft, and then assign that lead off to somebody based on the criteria that I put in there. Once it gets going here, you don't have to wait for it to start. I do because I want to see it right away. So as you see, it just did that, right? And now it's going to draft emails. I'm going to click review, and I can see all these emails that get generated. Now, the cool part is, if I go to my leads, it also assigns those leads to the user that you set up back in the prerequisite step that I skipped over. Is going to assign it to the agent so your internal salespeople know which of these leads are being worked on by the agent right now. That way you don't have two people stepping on people's toes where, oh, the agent sent out an email and then I actually went there and sent them an email as well. Now they're getting two conflicting emails. So now you'll know what leads the agent is evaluating before it assigns it out to somebody else, because it assigns itself the lead. And so I can see specifically what it's doing. So if I go to this Daniel Baker lead here, this is a hot rating implementation for Business Central, the field service scheduling. Let's see here. So let's go into Daniel Baker. This was the information here that was given for Daniel Baker. It's pretty minimal. It's just an address, phone number, email, and maybe a little bit about what he's looking for. Here in the description, field service scheduling and some annual revenue. But let's see what our agent came up with on emailing Mr. Baker here. So if I go down here, I find that email. Let's go ahead and click this, and it's going to show me that outreach email that it would generate to send to him. And then you can obviously review it, touch up what you need to, and send this out. If you have the research only enabled, it will save it as a draft. If it's engaged, I do believe it just sends it. I haven't turned it on fully because I didn't want to start sending emails to fake email addresses, which is what these all are. But my email is live because of this demo environment, so I didn't want to accidentally send these. So we'll give this a minute to run. Shouldn't take too long to generate. Oh, went wrong. Let's try Emma's. I think that one loaded for me before. This is the fun of doing the live demos. Sometimes it doesn't work the same way the same two times you do it, but I can assure you it puts a lot of detail in these emails, and it does have the little signature at the end and lets you know it's generated by AI, but it gives enough detail to where it feels like it's a more personalized response and not just like a, hey, we've received your inquiry type email. And the interaction is really where the benefit comes, because they can reply to this email that gets sent to them and the chatbot is still going to handle it until it hands it off to a salesperson. Okay, so it doesn't look like it wants to, oh, here we go, try again. So as you can see, it sends it from that user, which is going to be a service user that you set up. I just named mine the Sales Qual app, but you can name it according to your company, things of that nature, who it's going to, and then it put that subject based off, if we remember, for Emma. Let's go to Emma's record here. We'll show you kind of where it's looking at and pulling this data and generating that. So we've got the subject, Business Central, migration help. And it's got this. So I noticed that technology is focusing on expanding its digital transformation efforts. We can help you by reducing it. So it already throws your benefits. And this is where it would put that comparison to competitors. That we can help you by doing this. It basically puts your strengths over your competitors and any objections that need to be overcome. Be like, we do this better than these people because of this, or this is where other people lack, essentially, where other companies might not cover this and we do. It puts that in these just very simple plain English kind of bullets for somebody to read through. You don't have to be a technical savvy person, because this can go to kind of anyone at the business organization level that you need to send it to for you to understand the benefit that you're going to get by going with my demo company. And so that's really nice. And then it wants to know if it can schedule, right? It goes right for the close there. Can we schedule a quick demo to let you know how it works and what we can do for you? If someone says no, obviously we're going to start putting these leads to cold or disqualifying them. If they say yes, that's where we want to trigger okay, now this is the hot lead, hand it off to a salesperson. And so that's the benefit of this qualification agent. I don't need a template. I don't need a sales agent to come in and evaluate this lead and then spice things up and send a template to them. It's doing that for me. And then as responses come in, it's replying and assigning as needed. So it cuts out a lot of legwork for your sales agents so they can focus on just the hot leads, the stuff where people are interested in having a call or interested in a demo for what you can do for them. And that changes the game. That changes the landscape right there. So there's my signature, as you saw, right? It's got the best SQA. And there's my little disclaimer. Email was generated by AI based on criteria provided. You can change that language to say whatever you want, essentially, but you will want to put a little disclaimer there just to let them know that this was generated. That's up to you, though, if you don't want to. And you can thumbs up or thumbs down to give it feedback. But that's essentially what these will look like. And so each of them is going to be a little different if we try and evaluate it. Let me go back to Emma. So her topic was migration for Business Central. So we did get that correctly. It had the company, Silverline Technology, right? Now, remember, I didn't tell it specifically to look at the company field. I didn't tell it specifically to look at the topic field, right? I didn't tell it specifically to look at the first name. I just told it to look at hot leads, right? And evaluate if they're going to be buying soon or not, things of that nature. So it did research on the company and other things that I fed it based off of data I have in the system and their annual revenue, industry, stuff like that. All of this kind of stuff, it pulls, evaluates through the AI, and then composes an email to send. Looks like try again works. So if you notice, looks a little different. This is still 3-bullet format, but it's slightly different than the one we were going to send to Emma Hall. But always ends at that closer, right? If now is the right time, happy to share some time later, right? It's got a different pitch, quick caller demo, but gave them an option out. So it's interesting to see what it comes up with, but I do like that it always goes for that, hey, how can I go further? I'm looking for response. I'm not just going to send you hey, we have your inquiry, you know what I mean? We might be able to help you type thing. It really is doing the prospecting that you would spend hours doing as a sales team, waiting for responses back from customers and going through. All those are sent automatically. So all your sales team is focusing on is the responses or the hot responses, not the no's, not the don't worry about it, not the kind of stuff like that. It helps take care of those. And then you would click stop testing and you can start your agent if you're ready to go. Like I said, I'm not going to start mine because I don't want emails going out. I do have Engage on, so I'm going to leave that alone. Let's get back to our slideshow here. Okay, perfect. All right, catch us back up to where we were after our demo. All right, so what the demo really showed, right? It's pretty easy agent configuration control there. And as I mentioned, you can scale that up. You don't have to start right away into the engage mode. You can start with research mode and just leave it there and get those draft emails. If anything, just to get an email for a salesperson to touch up and send with that at least saves them the steps of clicking a new email, clicking a template, trying to find some company information, put that stuff in there. So even that saves you time. And then that qualified leads handoff, I didn't get to show that part because I didn't start the agent. But essentially what it does is once you start that agent, it starts running, starts getting the replies, and it will start qualifying leads based on the criteria that you gave it and handing them off to your sales reps before qualification if you want to as well. So that way you can have just sales reps focusing on opportunities, right, that were created by the sales rep or by the sales agent, or the leads that just need to be qualified, that one click in there from the sales agent, just for a little bit of human interaction if you need to. So it's got a lot of benefits there. That's what we walked through, what we can show you. But let's get to the brass tacks here, the business impact. If you haven't been able to tell, right, from this demo already, it's the faster lead response and really just the help with the seller productivity, because you don't have to spend the time running through all of these leads and figuring out like which ones are actually the hot leads or not. This email blast essentially does it for you, but with a little bit of thought behind it. It's got the criteria, it's got the research, it's got everything you put into it. So that way it's doing a more focused approach and it's consistent every single time, where a sales rep may be having a bad day or something and miss something. The agent isn't like that. It's going to evaluate the same criteria, all the same stuff every single time, and produce those response for you. So obviously that increased efficiency without having to raise headcount, right? You don't have to hire a researcher, you don't have to hire a marketer to get this information for you. It can do that. It can also reach out to outside websites and outside knowledge articles. It doesn't have to be internal information to kind of expand its knowledge source of companies that you're trying to do business with and other things of that nature. So it really takes sales to the next level. So just some key takeaways here, and then we're closing. We have a new AI sales teammate. It's essentially what you've got here. He is your sales partner. It transformed that passive tool to an active teammate that allows it to send emails, respond to emails, qualify leads, assign those out to allow your actual sales reps to focus on what matters. And that's those hot leads. That's closing those sales that basically are teed up for them nice and easy through the agent. It's a very scalable solution. As I showed, you don't have to start right away into the engage. You can start with research to get the good information, get the scoring, get all that done, and then jump to the next when you're ready for it. And then obviously we're augmenting that human talent. We are not replacing salespeople by any means, but this is a super helpful tool that allows them to do their job better because it's a lot more focused. So now I'm not wasting time as a sales member chasing down leads only to find out they say no, or doing company research just for them to say no. You take a lot of time for the good salespeople do to personalize messages only for a rejection. And this kind of eliminates that. It's going to get all the stuff right away, and then we'll know if it's a yes or no. The yeses we get to hyper focus on. The nos we can put into a marketing campaign or reuse and go back to them with a personalized touch if we feel like that's needed. And so that's the benefit of having this agent right there to go through everything and start just almost task oriented to create things for people to just follow down the next in the list and not have to put too much thought into what should I do next, which lead should I go for, which helps cut out more time than people realize. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Leave any comments or any more questions in the chat and we'll be answering them there. Hope to see you next time. Thank you.